We are going to kick things off today in the kitchen with Mr. Fun himself. This is Chef Jon-Paul. Did you know that's your nickname here?
I've never known that I was Mr. Fun. I'm honored.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
We have you on Fridays to really kick us into high gear and get us ready for the weekend.
That's awesome. Well, I have an excellent weekend. I mean, if you're tired of the big cooking, if you're tired of standing on the grill, it looks like it's going to rain today. It's a little overcast. So that to me is like siesta time. We take it easy when it's over. We take advantage of that. So what I'm making today is something.
I have a feeling you take a lot of siestas.
I don't. I
Really?
don't. I don't slow down. So this is a great excuse. Whenever it starts to rain on here, I'm like, I just go to sleep. So today I'm making something called a Tortilla Espanola. And when you hear the word tortilla, you naturally think, you know, the tortilla shell and you're going to pack it with something.
Exactly.
But a torta is a cake. And in Spain, where they love their siestas, if you went into a bar back in the day, they would have these little crockery jugs that they would drink sherry out of.
Okay.
And what would happen is flies would go in there because the sherry was sweet.
Yeah.
So they created a tapas, or a lid, to go on top.
Oh, really?
And that was usually a crust of bread, and then they'd put a slice of salty ham on it so it made you thirsty so you drink more sherry.
Okay.
Well, tapas has evolved into a lot of small plates and dishes.
So originally it was meant to be put on top of your booze
to keep
so
the flies out.
Wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
wow, learn something new every day.
It evolves into all these cool little treats, but one of the most famous is the Tortilla Espanola, which is basically a heavy potato omelet. All right, so it's more potato than omelet.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to juice that up a bit today, and we're going to use some chorizo, and we're going to cook that off. So we're going to actually turn it into a full-on meal.
Now, is chorizo spicy?
It is spicy.
So all chorizo
for the most part,
to it.
It should have kind of a kick to it, but that's going to work beautifully because potato tends to be kind of bland.
Right.
So all I'm doing is just cooking this down. And kind of an interesting concept is, instead of taking this out and then putting more oil in the pan to cook off my onions and my potatoes and my garlic, I'm going to use the oil that's in there because the oil tastes good.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a lot of it in there.
So I want to keep that. So I want to show you something really cool, which is a cutting technique.
Okay.
Now, I've got my onions here. Now, a lot of people, when they chop up onions, the problem is if you just kind of go willy-nilly at it, you end up with big chunks, small chunks. The small chunks burn, the big chunks are still raw. So this is the way we would cut an onion. My hopping spider. No, it's not good. I'm not going to do one of those.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to place my fingers on top and I'm going to slice. Go boom.
Boom.
Go boom.
Boom.
Again. Then I'm going to turn the onion and slice it this way. So it's all still connected. And then when I cut across, I get perfect dice. So this is what we teach at Le Cordon Bleu. So it's really efficient, and you're not crying.
And you're not chopping off your finger.
Exactly.
Always nice.
Exactly. So I'm going to throw that in. And I'm going to throw in some garlic. And the way I'm going to work with the garlic, because this is a long cooking process, is I'm going to cut my garlic pretty big. So fine cooking is for a quick saute. If I'm going with a long cook, I want more of a rustic chop. I don't want it to be too fine, because garlic burns. All right, we've all done it. When you put garlic in a pan and it just starts frying up on you, you're like, okay, we'll throw in more tomato sauce. All right, so I'm going to throw that in. We're going to let that cook down, and then our signature piece here is going to be our potato. So when I cut a potato, let me show you something kind of cool. When you cut it, I want you to do this. Put your hand on the board like that. All right, roly-poly stuff always feels kind of dangerous to cut. Put the heel of your hand here.
It does when you have a knife that looks like that.
Well, but it's a sharp knife, all right? So it's going to work well. Put your heel down, and then put your fingers here. Instead of doing that, or like this. This one always scares me.
Yeah.
All right? So put your heel of your hand there, all right? And then just put your fingertips on top. And then just slice off a piece.
Not of my finger.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, now here's the cool part. Now we're going to take the potato and flip it on its flat side so it's nice and stable.
Oh, now it's not all roly-poly on it.
Yeah, so just cut that into like 2 or 3 planks.
So I don't need to do that anymore.
You don't have to.
Okay. 2 or 3, you said?
That's perfect. You're awesome.
Woohoo!
All right, and then I just cut these guys up, and I'll throw those in. So I'm going to go boom, boom.
Now, how long is this? Is this going to simmer? Is this going to slow cook? What's this going to do?
Excellent question. What's going to happen is I'm going to throw the potatoes in. I'm going to start them cooking and cover them with foil and let them steam. And the cool stuff is, because I'm using raw potato, the starch is going to help bind our tortilla together.
Okay.
And just throw that in. So this will take about 15 minutes once the potato's in and it's covered for the potatoes to cook through.
You ever
and then
here you go.
We're going to add an egg mixture a little bit later. Okay. And the egg mixture is kind of neat because it's going to have some cheese in it. I'm using cheddar, but you can use Manchego, you can use whatever you like.
Okay.
It's going to have some sour cream in it. It's going to have some scallions in it. And we're going to mix that up with the eggs and essentially make something called a royal custard.
Yummy. Okay, we're going to do that next.
Yes.
You sit tight, you watch that, make sure it's all good and pretty.
I'm here.
And we're going to come back to you in just a few minutes. And yay, I'm so excited.